I've often found myself in moments like this being asked to say a few words. It happens often in my life, and it's something that I do with a full heart, and it's a privilege that Holman, who's become my friend over some time now, as I've come to know him. And so for him to ask me, it's an honour. It's just, and I hope that the words that I can say, that I've put together, in reflection of what's going on, what of this person's life, of your daughter's life, Holman, and your friend, those of you who knew her, and those of you who've just come to know her, like I have, just through the words that Holman has shared, and having looked at her page, her Facebook page, and come to just look at her face, her beautiful eyes, and I was trying to ask Holman a whole lot of questions as I tried to get to know as much as I could. And I asked her what colour was her hair. He said it always changed colour. It was always different. And but to hear her voice and to hear her speak, and to get to know, and then to get to know as this journey, which was a 2-year journey, from the moment that she had received the news. And Holman had shared with us that she had just received an award in Australia for being the most successful
business entrepreneur.
And she's on her page you can hear her speaking with such inspiration. At that point she didn't know. It was the next day that she had found out that she had a death sentence on her, which lasted much longer than they had said to her. They said to her she's only got 4 months to live.
Yes.
So it was a 2-year journey, and she's always been very open with this journey of how she went through, and that's the inspiring part of it. And she's touched so many lives. Her life has touched so many lives as she's been open about her life, her pending death. And as you watch this, you realize, Sue said something to me just now. She said, watching her life makes you think about your own life. And it's at times like this that we suddenly find ourselves tuning into that part of ourselves that we often switch off. And we think we're going to live forever. And when you have a death sentence, you obviously, as is her case, hold on to what matters the most, which is what she did. Her family and her friends and making a difference. She hoped to make a difference to other people, which she did. She passed away at the age of 32, in the prime of her life. And there's a few words that I say to people as we mourn. And even for someone like myself who didn't know her, it's very easy to fall in love with her in a way by watching her energy and just engaging this person that lived there. And it's sad. It hurts. And I've often thought at times like this, why does it hurt so much? And then I realized, well, that's the gift that is given to us, I believe, by God, for it to hurt so much. I had the unfortunate and maybe fortunate opportunity of once smoking dacha. I don't recommend it. However, It was a terrible experience, but it caused me to appreciate the emotions that God gives us, because it affects different people in different ways. The way it affected me is I felt absolutely nothing. And that frightened the bejeebers out of me. I thought, what's going on? That frightened me, and I longed even for a negative emotion, such as anger or pain or something. And then I suddenly realized what a gift it is. Because in that moment I felt dead. When I felt nothing, I felt that I wasn't alive. And it made me appreciate that when you feel so much, even though it hurts and it overwhelms you, it makes you realize that you are so alive. And when we listen to the story and our emotions are touched in such ways, it screams out to us that you who are feeling what you feel, you're alive. Her life screams out to us to say to us, make the best out of every moment that you have. Because we're all going to die at some point. The other thing that I always say to people, especially to those closest to her and to all those who have been affected, and our thoughts go out obviously to her children and Hamish, and what they must be feeling as you reflect and as you read the page book which your other daughter has continued to fulfill. Elizabeth.
Yes.
And then, we just prior to coming here, we were at home just going over it, and she's put on her last thoughts, I think this was about a week ago, and she said it's been a week now, and we've gone with the family to the place where they've laid her to rest, and then she was just sharing some reflections. And obviously your heart feels, and you feel this sadness again. If it didn't hurt so much, we would forget. Because it hurts so much. It's a way that I believe God helps us to remember. Because I don't know if you like me, but I'm sure that I'm not that unique. We can become very shallow, very superficial, and we can lose sight of even why we are here. Now Holman knows that I'm a Christian, and when he phoned me, he said, I don't necessarily believe what you believe, but I wouldn't mind if you bring a little bit of religion into it. And I know that there are people that believe differently, and I respect everyone's. I've made a point in life of listening to everyone's view, because everybody is entitled to theirs, and everybody should respect everyone else's way of seeing things and interpreting things. It's quite significant that Jesus, the person who I do believe in, even though I have to admit that Christianity has portrayed him sometimes in a way that I feel hasn't done him justice, using a lot of his teachings to run churches like businesses and so on and so on, I admit that there's some things I'm not proud of as a Christian. However, and the other thing that makes me sad is that we spend so much time arguing about what is right and what is wrong that often people end up not believing in anything, because all they did was argue about dogmatics and doctrines and so on, when there's just a simple message of love that transcends all the red tape that we argue about. It is recorded by a historian who wasn't a Christian, Joseph, that this person, Jesus, lived. Now the similarity to Sophie's life is that he died at the age of 33, in the prime of his life. And the reason I don't want to use this as an opportunity to preach, but to encourage, as you said, Holman. And so I need to use what I know best and what I've meditated on and what I've seen, is that I really believe that there is life after death. And Holman was sharing with me, even from we found commonality when he was saying, I don't believe that death, Holman said to me, is final. It's another stage. Well, I believe this human being that he was at the time marched towards his own death. He knew it was happening. And that's another thing that he had common with Sophie, is that she knew in the 2 years that it was pending. And that's why it's inspiring to actually put yourself in her shoes and go through the story, as hard as it is, but it will inspire you to live, not to die, but to live. To live, as Mark was saying to me, we're living, preparing to die, actually. And we take with us what really counts. Now, Jesus Christ died, and then it is claimed that he resurrected again and appeared to people, and people have continued to claim that, and still claim that he appears to them, not physically, but internally. But something happened to cause that belief to happen. There is life after death. So we forget, actually, that we are a spiritual people. And the world, full of its numbers, its dogma, its doctrines, its indifferences, its prejudice, tries to squash. And all the pressures of life as well. We're so busy. Dog eat dog, everyone for himself. And before we know it, we can get caught up in this maze of superficiality and die before we really die. And in moments like this, when we hear about this beautiful spirit that loved till her heart skipped a beat, laughed till her belly ached, and smiled from ear to ear, and it was just smiles, and what she did in the simplicity of what she did, and the ripple effect. I don't know about you, but I'm jealous of this person. I want my life, as I'm sure you would, to affect other people's lives. The ripple effect. And it's still, when Elise was saying to me as we were going on Facebook, to get 1,000 likes. I've got a message on YouTube and I think I've got 60 hits. She's got 1,000 as your daughter on the one, and that's a big thing. And those are a lot of those people that have watched it. They don't even know her, and we were reading some of the messages that they sent there and how they inspired. And one lady was saying that she keeps her picture. She has never met Sophie next to her bed, and she looks at her and it inspires her to live. So I hope, without going on too long, that we can come to a point, each on our own, where we find ourselves connecting with ourselves. I say it from a Christian perspective. Jesus was on the cross and he said to the Father, he says, "Forgive them, Father, they do not know what they're doing." And I believed that he said that, and he forgave everyone. And I always thought the reason why people do not know what they're doing, because they never stopped to take stock, to sit under the tree and just be. And so hopefully something of what happened today would be an inspiration for you all as we all part and go our own separate ways. And a lot of us don't know each other, but we connected all in a meaningful way. But as we part, that we don't just switch on the button and get back into that we can find ourselves reflecting on what counts and why are we here. And that's it.
Thanks.